Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Echo of 21K, a podcast created by the students of India's first online only school, 21K. This is your host, Kundanika Singh, with Riya Kurian on the third episode of our podcast. We are immensely pleased to have Miss Aruna Shetty today with us, who is the principal of 21K school.
Let us introduce our esteemed guest, Miss Aruna Shetty, to the listeners. Miss Aruna Shetty is our beloved principal. She's a remarkable professional who is a graduate of SIES College. From acquiring a fashion designing diploma to becoming the academic head at 21K School, Miss Aruna Shetty has been through it all. She has an astonishing 17 years of experience as an educator on the international boards in Mumbai. She passionately believes that every child can exceed and that the cooperation between home and school builds trust and self esteem in students. Ma'am, we are overjoyed to have you with us today.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Aruna ma'am, and welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
First of all, thank you very much for having me on your podcast. I am very honored and proud to be with you girls, and I hope that we have a fun time ahead. So I'm doing great. I have to be great, right? I'm on this podcast with you girls. So, yeah.
I am so happy to know that, ma'am. We are all very eager to know more about you, ma'am, and I'm sure so are our listeners. So let us begin.
So how did you discover 21K School? What was your first impression of the school?
Wow. So when I left my last job, which was in a physical school, I was looking, of course, for something to replace my last job. And then through some contact of mine, I got to know about 21K School. I met Mr. Yashwant Raj Parasman, who is the director of our school. And we had a lovely interaction wherein I got to hear of his vision for the school. And it so resonated with the way I think a school should be for students. And since our mindsets actually matched very much in the first meeting itself, it was just an organic transition. So I wasn't really looking for an online school, so to speak, but more about looking for opportunities to work with like-minded people. And I'm very fortunate that I happen to meet people who are such visionaries and we share the same thoughts when it comes to education.
That's amazing to know, ma'am. Very frankly, we're just glad that you discovered the school because we love having you as our principal.
Ma'am, how was your experience meeting the founders and how was your experience working with them now?
So, like I said earlier, Kundanika, it was perhaps a destined meet where I happened to meet Mr. Yashwant. Thereafter, I met Mr. Santosh, Mr. Joshi, and Mr. Dinesh. And it was absolutely wonderful for me to know that in this day and age, there are young people like our founders who are having such a beautiful thought for the future generation. Their vision is so clear and they're hoping to make a difference through their modest kind of attempt in ensuring that the children around the world get quality education. I totally congratulate and stand with them in achieving their vision and hoping that we all contribute towards ensuring that the students around the world receive the quality education with the limitations that we are facing today, and also ensuring that students who may have limitations to access a physical school will benefit just as much with the virtual school that we have to offer.
I am glad to know that.
Sorry. Abhay, pause for a minute.
Ma'am, I am glad to know that. Did you know the founders before you worked with them, ma'am?
No, I did not.
Oh, that's an amazing opportunity that you got to know them so well, ma'am.
Yeah, it is. And I'm very thankful that in my lifetime, so I am older than all the four founders. And, but trust me, their experience is far greater than mine. So it is very overwhelming and very humbling for me when I get to work with people who are in a position to teach me just by virtue of their experience, which has been so wonderful.
I'm delighted to know, ma'am.
Ma'am, even we met the founders in our previous episodes, and they were one of the most kindest and understanding people we have met.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Ma'am, how was your transition from getting a diploma in fashion designing to becoming a principal? And what struck within for that change to happen?
Well, if you're expecting some very fancy schmancy story, Riya, none of that. It is just that I like designing clothes, and it just started as a fun thing for me to do, where I design clothes for my friends, and then I would put up exhibitions, which was a fun activity for me to do. Thereafter, my son was born, and after my son was born, because my fashion designing career required me to travel extensively, I took a back seat there and thought that I need to be there for my son. And with that, while he was growing, I ended up doing my PG diploma in early childhood care and education. So after pursuing that, I went on to, as my son stepped into schooling, I thought, why not be with him and see if I can also contribute towards education. Before that, it was, more fun for me, where I sat with all the children of my, area and taught them. It was just a fun thing for me to do. But then when I saw the results, they all started faring very well. I thought I had it in me to be an educator. And then with my son going to school, I thought, why not venture into that field? And I happened to join this international baccalaureate school, which was very close to my residence. I joined the school, and the experience over there was absolutely fantastic for a new educator to step into something which is so beautiful a program. I just thrived, as a teacher when I joined the school. And during the entire journey, I realized that I absolutely love doing what I do, what I did. And thereafter, the transition was just very organic, where from a teacher, I became a coordinator. And from a coordinator, I went on to becoming an associate principal. And today, here I am as your principal. So, as you see, it was just meant to be. And I'm so happy that I am here.
Ma'am, that's a very sweet yet interesting timeline of stories. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Ma'am, I really want to know what are the simplest and most challenging aspects of becoming a principal?
The simplest thing is that I get to be with children all the time. If I need to be with you girls or boys, I'm sorry, I just have to enter a class and my day is made. I think that is the simplest thing, where reaching out to you children is not a difficult thing for me. The most challenging thing is, of course, today I would say that because since we are on the online platform, there are certain limitations that we have to work with, right? And the limitations could be in the form of technology, it could be in the form of issues when it comes to facilitators, being there, not being available, the substitutions, the availability. So these are some of the smaller challenges. Of course, we have a very robust technical team today in 21K, and none of the challenges seem daunting enough for us. We are able to tackle everything. So yes, so I would really not say that things are very challenging now, but I definitely know that we are equipped to meet the challenges as and when we face them.
That is such a great answer, ma'am. And ma'am, being a principal is not the easiest thing, and we hope we can make it easier for you as students.
Says who? Says who? Being a principal is like, the easiest thing I could ask for in my life. Trust me, if you work with people who understand your vision, who walk with you in towards achieving your vision, I wouldn't say any role is difficult. Okay, difficult is only as difficult as it seems. So if I consider climbing a mountain a difficult task, then I don't think I'll ever climb it, will I? But then we do have a lot of people who have scaled mountains and have done a successful job. So it is not an undoable thing. It is just about your desire to achieve, and it is just how hard you want to work towards it. That's all.
That is a beautiful perspective, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what is your ideal relationship you want between yourself and your students?
Ideal relationship. Oh, I'm already having one. So the thing is that am I sounding like things are like really perfect or something over here? No, but then that's not true at all. So let me not sound like, oh my God, everything is perfect at 21K and all of that. No. Well, ideal relationship is where the children feel they are in an environment to speak their minds fearlessly. An ideal situation for me is where a child thrives without any stress or fear of having to perform. I wish that all children, get an environment where they are able to grow to the best of their abilities without really surrounded or pressurized into, performing their best. I think every child does perform their best if they are given the liberty and the flexibility and the space to grow the best way that they can grow. So that is what I would really like for my students, at least.
Definitely, ma'am, I agree. And that's what Monkey School is doing, helping us think out of the box and giving us no boundaries, letting us explore all options.
Ma'am, how is your previous experience being a part of the education industry in brick and mortar schools different from being a principal of 21K?
So, at the cost of sounding rather untraditional as a principal, I would like to tell you that when I was working in any capacity, not only as a principal, as a coordinator, as a facilitator, or even as an associate principal, I always believed that it is very important to be with the students to understand students. So you would always find me as a teacher with the students, and the age really did not matter. So even when I was taking a class, I would have the 10th graders walking in my class, sitting in my class with my grade 2 students, and contributing towards my class that, oh, hey, y'all are doing this. Okay, you know what? You know this. Do you know this? So I would have a kind of environment where students did not feel scared that, oh, we have Aruna ma'am around. They were very, very open when it came to interacting with me. I had an open door policy in my school where anybody could walk into my office and without really seeking an appointment, so to speak, and share their thoughts fearlessly, whether it was the parents, it was the students, it was the facilitators, it was even the admin department. If they felt things were not going with them, everybody was free to walk into my office, even the ancillary staff. We always had, when we had in the physical school, the ancillary stuff, we always had a session called What Went Well and Even Better If. So in this session, after every event in the school, we included the entire stakeholders, that is the community of the school that I was working in, and we asked for their opinion of what according to them went well and how would they like the next event to be better from their perspective. So each one had a say in every matter in the school, and that is how I believe that a community should thrive.
Ma'am, I really, really liked the open door policy, and it's a huge deal to be the principal, ma'am, and you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Ma'am, you've been in the education industry for 17 years now as a teacher, coordinator, and even a principal. So, throughout those 17 years, what has fundamentally changed in the education industry?
Well, what has changed is that now more and more educators are realizing the importance of a skill-based program over a content-heavy program. Right. So if you see the national education policy is also, they have made so many changes toward ensuring that the students actually learn according to their abilities and interests rather than learning what we want them to learn. Right. So we are more open towards accepting students' interests and talents and their career choices and making it available to them, as against you had only professional courses like medicine or engineering. These were your quintessential choices that parents would make for their children. As against that, parents have become more open to facilitating their children's interests and ensuring that they, if they want to pursue art, it is fine. If they want to pursue design and technology, it is fine. If they want to pursue music, drama, it is fine. And there is a lot of encouragement going on over there. So I think that has changed. Mindsets have changed. There is a lot of growth mindset today that we see as against the fixed mindset that was happening earlier. And this is only conducive to students thriving and growing better in various fields. Yeah.
Definitely, ma'am. I can really see how we have all grown a little more open minded in this generation.
Ma'am, we would all really love to know if you were able to go back in time 10 years, what would you tell yourself about leadership that you didn't know then?
You know what, Kundanika? I have always been the kind of person who believe, like I said, in an open relationship with my students. And I have always kind of challenged the system even then as a facilitator also, so much so that I would at times be called and told that don't be so liberal with the students, you have to be a little strict with them and you allow them to do what they want. And but then at the end of the day, when we saw the results in the children, they were always so much more better than when they started, in terms of not the content that they learn, not their knowledge, but in their self-esteem, in their confidence, in the way they looked at the world. They saw it just as an open platform, where they could do what they want fearlessly. And that is very important in this day and age, because we are all scared somewhere or the other, right? And we need to have that platform where I am not being judged for who I am. I am accepted for who I am. I believe in myself that I can perform. And that, I think, as an educator, we all have to make sure that we get the children to believe in themselves. And that is what I think is the best thing that we can do. So I would say that I have always been like that, and not because I knew more than others, but that is who I am. However, what has changed now, and I am so happy about it, that there are more and more people believing in this, right? I just happen to be like that. But today you have everybody who's believing that we need to have the social emotional connect with children. We need to bond with children. And it is not, like I recently saw something, I don't know whether I should be commenting on it, but which said that a teacher said that I am here to see that you all achieve. Yeah, but then I am not here to see that you achieve. I am here to ensure that you believe in yourself to achieve whatever you want. So when I instill in you that belief that yes, I can conquer the world, you will achieve it. So that is more important for me, and that is what I want everyone around me in 21K to believe and to work towards.
That is a beautiful concept, ma'am, and I love that you have it.
Now, moving on to the next question. During online classes, what are the best classroom management strategies you use to manage your students?
So the thing is, unfortunately, I did not get the opportunity of managing classes online. But then, yes, I happened to take some last year when I was substituting for some teachers and all of that. So I always saw that, you show the children something very interesting, and then you appeal to their sensibilities to be able to converse with the facilitator and to contribute, right? And when I saw that students were very engaged in thinking, in actually wanting to express themselves, I saw that they were making an effort, and some of them would express in a language that they were comfortable in, more so because they wanted to express. Yeah. So giving equal opportunities to children, ensuring that each one is engaged in the activities that we do, instead of just going and doing something which you don't know as a facilitator whether half the class has done it or not. So whenever I did that, I saw that participation was at its best. I saw that children actually enjoyed being a part of something where they felt that my voice is heard, and it just made my class so much more fun.
That's a really smart strategy, ma'am. I can really imagine how you used this strategy and everyone was more engaging and participating in the classes.
So, ma'am, what skills do you think are the most crucial for succeeding as a principal?
Skills to succeed as a principal. All right. Well, I think one really needs to understand the team, okay? To be able to connect with every person at an individual level, to be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of their team members and to use it productively, and to work on areas that will enhance the overall quality of your team, right? So to be able to do that, one really needs to understand the person that you are, because you will showcase your skills to me only if you're comfortable with me, right? Otherwise, one usually only showcases the best. Principal is here, so I have to just show my best face, isn't it? Isn't that what you do? Oh, ma'am is here, ma'am is here. Okay, keep quiet. And we have to be on our best behavior. The challenge here is that how do I still know that Riya is a naughty girl and Kundanika is a very a very committed child? How will I get to know that? So it is only when I interact more with you, do I get to know you better, that I am able to analyze and evaluate your strengths and weaknesses as children. And I would do that. I would do the same for my team members. So I would definitely use the strengths of my team members and work on areas that I feel that they need to work. So one is, a leader definitely needs to be able to identify that in their team, and also to plan how I can enhance the existing, areas of concern. I think another thing would be to be able to empathize with everyone, to be able to be a problem solver in terms of finding amicable solutions towards situations and issues without really stirring everything around them. It is also good for a leader to be cooperative, okay? But at the same time, a leader has to be humble enough for people to know that, yes, he or she is a person I can approach without thinking twice. So approachability, humility, these are some of the qualities that I would want to see in any of the leaders in 21K school. And these, I think, are not only important for a leader, but for every human being. Because being a leader is influencing the people around you, right? So as a leader today, I am an influencer. Today, the crew of 21K is looking up to us. The children of 21K are looking up to us. So as leaders, they want to see qualities that they would want to have in themselves. You would want to imbibe those qualities from me because you like what you see. So it is very important that these simple qualities should be seen rather than spoken about for you to want to emulate, right? So this is what I see in leaders.
I completely agree with your opinion, ma'am, and thank you so much for that wonderful answer. I feel like I learned a lot.
Ma'am, each day as a generation, we are growing in terms of technology. So, how is technology making things simpler for students, in your opinion?
Today, if you give a mobile phone or a tab to a 3-year-old, even he knows what to do with it. So the thing is that I don't know how they learn, because I suppose they are tuned to it already from that young age. You guys need to tell me how technology has helped you. In fact, I'll tell you something. I'll share something which I think Abhay and Solomon would already have seen that. So for the Teachers' Day, what you guys did, I would have never been able to plan it in my life, even in my dreams. So, I mean, you made the whole experience, you elevated it so much just because y'all were so kind of tuned to whatever nuances are there in technology. And I absolutely am so proud of you all in the sense, your ability to understanding technology. It is just so kind of advanced and sophisticated. I mean, it is going to take us quite some time to even come to your level. But I know that what you all are able to do with technology, because you all are guided so to use it effectively. If you all wouldn't have been given the opportunity, I don't think we would have even known what you are capable of. So it was just absolutely so advanced and sophisticated, whatever you all did for Teachers' Day. Your idea of coming up with this podcast, okay, I would not have probably come up with it. And I'm so thankful to you children that you all actually came to me with this suggestion that you wanted to conduct a podcast, right? So yeah, I mean, I think you guys are just so advanced, and it is just helping you in terms of making life simpler for you all, making life more interesting, because you all know how to use it well. As against us today, also we struggle to kind of do things on with our mobile phones, never mind anything else. So I think it has just helped you. You tell me, has it or has it not?
Ma'am, it definitely has. As a student of online school, I can see how much technology has positively impacted my life.
Yes, and the thing is that thanks to this advancement, I think we are also somewhere feeling proud of ourselves that at this age we are also happy that we could learn so much. So because it was a challenge for us, we actually went out of our way to learn, right? And we learn from you children every day. I mean, I have Miss Shivani who comes to me and says, okay, the children want to do this. And, though we seem like, oh, yeah, what's the big deal? We know about it. But honestly, we don't know. And we are learning so much from you guys. And it is absolutely wonderful that you teach us a thing or two. Yeah. So we are actually teachers of each other, right? Isn't that
Yes, ma'am.
wonderful? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I don't know.
Moving
Did I
on.
answer your question, Riya?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, ma'am.
All right.
Moving on, ma'am, what is one event from your years of teaching that you remember vividly? Something that touched your heart or something funny?
So I'll tell you what happened. So this is a very interesting story in my life. Of course, I'm sure most of you would not have been born then. So in 1996, there was a deluge in Mumbai. Okay, and at that time, I was a grade 2 teacher, a grade 2 homeroom teacher, right? So I had taken my students on a field trip to town, which was quite a distance, maybe 20 kilometers, 25 odd kilometers away from where our school was. And I had taken them to see the Gateway of India, the lighthouse, and all of that there is. And it was a planned field trip where most of the grades had gone in the primary section. And it started to pour. Now it started to pour so much, and that was one of the most eventful days, in the history of Mumbai, where we had a deluge which was so bad that many lost their lives there on that day. And I don't know, some intuition or for some reason, I decided that we had to return immediately back to school, right? So we turned around, got all our students back to school, and we must have reached school at around 3 o'clock or so. And it started pouring cats and dogs. Now, water started filling because there was also a high tide in the sea, and the water started gushing into the city. And because of that, there was water everywhere. And what had happened that day was that we sent the children, with whoever could help, who had vehicles and who could drop children nearby. So all the children went, but there was this one child from my class who refused to go with the director of the school. He said, "No, you will drop me." And it so happened that my house was on the opposite direction to where he stayed. He lived quite close to the school, but then we were actually living in opposite directions. But since he started crying and he was insistent that no, I had to go, ma'am had to take me home, I actually gave in and I said, "All right, child, I'll take you." And I took him, I dropped him, and it took me 3 hours to reach from my school to his place, which was actually a 10-minute distance because there was so much water on the streets. We could not. So it took us 3 hours. Anyway, luckily, I had some food in the car. I fed him. He was fast asleep in the car. He was just all but a 7-year-old, right? Then his mother walked till some distance because the cars could not go beyond that. So she walked, she came, she picked him, the child went home safe and sound. After that, it was, I had to turn back and go home, right? And this was, say, around 6 o'clock, I must have reached there. But the drive from there till my house, which was again another 15 minutes, took me 5 hours. So it was so bad, right? But the most beautiful thing is that today that child is 23 years old and he is still in touch with me. And his father at that time, who was working in Delhi, came down from Delhi only to thank me for what I did for their child, who to this date remembers that it was my homeroom teacher who actually took care of me at that time and, took me to my house to ensure that I was safe and sound. It is not that I did a big deal, okay? But this memory that my student remembers it is what makes that effort so worthwhile. So I would do it all over again if it was another child and it was another day where they would meet me. Yeah. So this is one of the most memorable experiences because today also Varun Vashi is very much in touch with me. Yeah.
Ma'am, that is such a touching story and so interesting too. It kept me hooked, and thank you so much for sharing it with us. That was like such a nice thing that you did.
Yeah. Can I share one more story with you, Kundanika? So the thing is that just a few days ago on Instagram, I have one of the students from my previous school who was training to be a national level gymnast. Okay, he's fantastic. And I was in love with his cartwheels. So, and he was also an athletics champion in the school. And, I would always scream the loudest when he would run on the tracks because it was, just such a beautiful thing to just watch him run. He was so beautiful. And he happened to tell me that he broke his leg last year while playing basketball, and he was on crutches for a year. But then he also shared a very beautiful story with me where he said that, "Ma'am, do you remember whenever," and he was in grade 10. So he said that, "Ma'am, do you know every time I did a cartwheel, I still remember that you were the one who cheered loudest for me in school, and that motivated me to do better. But you also told me one more thing, which is my mantra today, that the students in the school treat you as a hero." Everybody looked up to him because he was a champion in, on the field and such a wonderful gymnast. So all the children wanted to be like him when they grew up in school. So I had just given him this one piece of advice, that when you are a hero to somebody, it is nice, it's a nice feeling, when you have so much of, you receive so much of adulation and love from people around you. But with that comes a responsibility of being somebody who, his actions speak louder than his words, where people want to emulate you for who you are rather than what you do. So you be a hero in the true sense, and be a good role model for these children, that when they grow up, they also want to be the human being that you are. So he said that, ma'am, those words of yours, I carry it with me today, where I am so mindful of my actions that I ensure that I don't do anything that would influence the young minds in any other way. And I think that is just such a beautiful thing for a child to say, because he's also a young boy, and to be mindful that his actions would impact, the other children around him, and he's behaving and carrying and conducting himself in such a way. I think it's just such a beautiful thing, right? Yeah. So this was another thing that really touched my heart. It's just a few days ago this happened. Yeah.
That is such a sweet story, ma'am. Again, it is so touching and so inspiring too, because he remembered what you said to him all those years ago and
Yeah.
still follows it. So that is so
Yes.
inspiring.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is your driving force in 21K school?
My driving force is you, all my students. Trust me, wherever I am, anywhere, anytime. Uh, Trust me, children, if I am in this profession, my children will only be my driving force, nothing else. I am never ambitious for myself. I'm always ambitious for my children. I want that they have to go out into the world. And you girls remember this. In fact, all of you, I mean, you are all from the student council, and I want you to take this with you always in your life, that I don't want you to be known as students of 21K today. I don't want you to be known as, heroes of 21K school today. I want you to be heroes in your life when you grow up, and people to ask you, which school are you from? And that's when you say, I am a product of 21K school. So remember that today, as students of student council, you carry with you great responsibilities. And we are not a school where we not only make the 16 years of your life, or whatever few years you have will be spending with us, beautiful. We promise you that we'll make it beautiful. But you have to promise me that you will make a difference in the world as good human beings. Be successful, but never forget that there are a few qualities that make you who you are. And those few qualities are always to be humble, to be kind, and to give love. And that is what I always talk as a principal, right? I don't talk about academics, I don't talk about success, I don't talk about competition. This is what I always talk about, even with my team of coordinators and facilitators. That love is the only emotion that is free. You never have to work for it, and you are filled with it. So whatever you do it with a lot of love, and that is what you share, because that is the only thing that comes around as much as you give, right? Everything
Yes.
else is calculated. So just go out there, do your best, but give it with a lot of love. Yeah.
That's very sweet of you to say, ma'am. On behalf of everybody, I promise you we will reach your standards.
Thank you. Thank you, Riya. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, so many students are watching this podcast right now. So, what is the most important piece of advice that you would give to them?
What I just gave you. Why is the student council any more special than the rest of my 21K students? I want every student of 21K to promise me that they will be known in the world for who they are and for what they learn from 21K. So yes, give love and spread it unconditionally around you and give the best that you can within your capacity. You don't have to aspire to walk on the moon, right? There are many people who know they can do it and they will do it. You do what you can and give it your best always, right? But do not forget to be humble and to do it with a lot of love. That's all it takes to make the world a beautiful place. Everything else is secondary. Yes.
That is incredible advice, ma'am, and I'm sure all our listeners would love to start implementing it because I know that I will.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, last but not the least, what is your vision for 21K School?
My vision is that my students, my facilitators, my entire crew members, including with my founders, we are all in an environment that is happy in the truest sense, and not just because it's a tagline of our school or the vision of our school. But to create happy environments, it is very important that I can't say that, come to my school, I'll give you a happy environment. That's not something I can buy from the market, right? So what creates a happy environment? A happy environment is created by the people in it, by the mindsets we have, by the belief we have. And I want all of us to have that belief that, yes, each one is contributing towards making this environment a happy place, right? So what is it that makes it happy? Is it the curriculum? Is it what we are offering you? Or is it the fact that you have facilitators who truly believe in what they do and you can feel it? And what is it that you do in return? You are sharing how you feel about whatever they are giving to you by doing a good job of your work, by remaining focused in what you do, and by genuinely striving hard towards achieving to the best of your abilities, right? Because at the end of the day, we are all here to ensure that you all grow up into good human beings. And to do that, we are ready to do whatever it takes. And we are all here doing it from the bottom of our hearts for you.
I completely agree with you, ma'am. I just hope as students we uphold the ideals of your vision for 21K School.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aruna ma'am, for sharing your experiences and insights from the point of view of our principal. We have a rapid fire round for you, so please brace yourself, ma'am, and answer in a few words.
I didn't see that coming. I wasn't prepared for that. Oh, I was not prepared for the podcast either. Okay,
Ma'am,
shoot.
it will be really fun.
I know. Come on.
Ma'am, what's the most important thing you've learned in your life?
The most important, I think, is that you have to love unconditionally if you want to be loved.
Ma'am, is there any talents you possess?
Well, I think I kind of sing okay, and dance okay. But bottom line is I enjoy doing both. Yeah.
Ma'am, who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Anybody who is, capable of giving me love inspires me. Yashwant inspires me. He's such a wonderful person. My mentor, Nitya Sundaram, inspires me because she has always been so unconditionally in giving us whatever she is equipped with. My dear friend, Mr. Nitin, inspires me because he's always so charged towards ensuring that we have to do the best that we can with what we have. So everyone around me, the existing team of coordinators that I have, they inspire me because they are so unconditional in the way they help and they support me. It is just so beautiful. So you all inspire me because you all, the way, even in a virtual platform, the kind of skills that you all show, you all inspire me to want to work hard towards being a better person. So I think everybody just around me inspires me so much that there is so much more for me to achieve in life. So yeah, inspiration is every day and ongoing.
That's a very sweet answer, ma'am. Ma'am, what's your favorite quote?
Quote? What would be my favorite quote? I really can't. It's a rapid fire. All's well that ends well. Yeah.
Well, now Kundanika shall take over.
Right.
What is your favorite place, ma'am?
Go on.
Ooh, nice. Can you describe yourself in a sentence?
In a sentence, yes, I am a very passionate, loving person who believes and chooses to see the best in everything around her.
I really agree with that sentence, ma'am. Ma'am, what is the favorite part of your job?
The favorite part of my job is just that I get to be around children.
That is very sweet, ma'am.
Yeah.
Moving
And I'm
on.
not saying that because y'all are children, okay? I
Yes, ma'am.
genuinely love being around children. It's just like the happiest thing for me to do. Yeah.
Moving on, ma'am. Which has been more valuable in your career, your education or your experience?
My experience, definitely.
Favorite book, ma'am?
My favorite book, so to speak, would, there are quite a few, but I think The Alchemist by far would be one of my favorite books.
Yes, that is such a great book.
Yeah.
Now that we're at the end of the episode, Aruna ma'am, we'd like to express our gratitude for joining us on our podcast. Ma'am, we really appreciate your time, and it was an amazing opportunity to get to know you better. And I'm sure our viewers did too. We loved meeting you and are deeply touched by our ideas. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That was quick. Not expected it to end so fast. I truly enjoyed interacting with you girls, and I wish that we would have more opportunities to interact. I think I should just tell Shivani that, we should have more such informal sessions and not really where we are recorded and have to be like proper all the time. But hey, I enjoyed this session with you girls, and you boys who are not visible here, thank you so much for just being there. And Raj, thank you so much for having me here. It was truly a fun experience for me. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, ma'am. If you like this episode, please share it with your friends and family. We would love to hear from you, so give us your feedback, suggestions, and write to us at the echo of 21k at the rate 21kschool.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. Find us with the name 21k School for all the details about the latest events at our school. The link is given in the description. We look forward to connecting with you all again. Stay safe, stay tuned to the Echo of 21k. Thank you all, and see you next time.
See you next time.